Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and I spent 27 hours watching movies this past October, and about 15 of those were in the actual theater. Now you may be asking yourself, in this economy, how in the world was I able to do that? And the answer is that I am a Regal Unlimited member, and if it weren't for that, trust me, I would not be spending $16 to $20 to go watch a movie in theaters. The subscription pays for itself if you go watch at least 3 to 4 films, depending on how expensive movie tickets are in your area. And trust me, I end up going a lot more than that. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth when it comes to the membership. And I'm here to show you all the movies I've seen this past month. I saw a total of 15 films in October, and a total of 8 of those were in theaters. To start us off, I saw One Battle After Another. When I was watching previews for this film, it never really caught my attention. It just seemed like it was gonna be your average action film, but my brother had heard that the film was really good, so we decided to make our own opinions and watch it for ourselves. The film, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, was something that really surprised me. Off the trailer alone, it doesn't really imply that the film is going to be overly political or just be political at all. Like Civil War, for example, the trailer of that film is inherently political. It is very much about politics and how the political landscape is in that film specifically. So One Battle After Another really did not give me that impression. Maybe I wasn't looking deeply enough. I really enjoyed the film. I did think it was a tad long and a tad predictable in certain aspects of it, but it was still relatively enjoyable. The performances were really well done, and I think they did a really good job with the message of the film. I have heard that this film is going to be receiving some Oscar buzz, and I don't know, and I guess we'll have to see when the nominations come out. Next up,
It's a beautiful country. Beautiful things.
since it was October, I decided to watch a couple of horror films here and there, and upon watching it, I actually really did like it at first. This happens to me a lot when I watch a film. I come out of it and I'm like, yeah, that was really good, and then after I sit on it and like think about it, I'm like, you know, that wasn't as good as I came out of it thinking. Like I need some more time to process and to think about a film before I can really give it a accurate rating. And I thought it was fine. Like nothing was particularly horrible about it or terrifying. It was honestly just like an okay film. It was like, all right. It was like, okay. Going along with the October horror movie films, I decided to give Scary Movie a rewatch. I love the Scary Movie franchise. I know that might be a controversial thing to say, but I find them to be really funny and just so fun. Like, I love a good parody. I love a good horror comedy. That's like probably my favorite genre. I don't think this is the best in the franchise whatsoever, but I had just recently watched the first one, so I thought it would make sense to just continue watching onto the second. And you know, I thought it was pretty good. I think it really does a good job at making fun of the films that it's trying to make fun of. It's so funny every single time.
It's the best feeling there is. It's 40,000 people, and they're cheering you on.
Next up, I saw The Smashing Machine. I do want to start off by saying I am a bit biased against biopics. I really don't like biopics. I have yet to see a biopic that I've like loved or honestly liked. I honestly would rather watch an action movie over a biopic, because if I want to watch something about somebody's life, I would rather just watch a documentary. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me to watch a biopic. I don't like it. But I was going with a friend and my brother. We just decided to watch it. And with that being said, I don't think this film did a horrible job in telling the story it was trying to tell. This is without a doubt The Rock's best performance, the most different performance he's ever done in his career, at least that I've seen. And so for that, I do have to applaud him in that. I also think Emily Blunt's performance in this was phenomenal. Her American accent was so good. Like I really, like, I watched her and and I'm like, I can't believe you're British. Like, I really can't believe it that you are not speaking like this on a regular basis. And while I had no idea who Mark Kerr was before this film, I did walk out of it having a general sense of who he was as a wrestler through this film. And I think that's really all you can do from a biopic. It's like the film does what it can with a boring biopic structure. Like, it does its job, you get me? It did its thing. It's just not for me personally. Like, I just don't like biopics.
How could someone so cute be so stink? Ah!
Next up, I watched A Haunted House. This film was terrifying, to be honest. I know I just said that I love a good horror comedy, and I really do, but this film was just like genuinely so disappointing. I've never really watched a film that tried to do like vulgar humor and not liked it. Like, I love a good vulgar humor, a fart joke here and there, but this wasn't, it never hit the mark in the jokes. And I definitely prefer Scary Movie over this film. It just didn't do what I was really hoping for. I feel like, I know it makes no sense for me to critique the plot in a horror comedy, horror parody, because like the point is not the plot, but it's just this whole film, like, it just really didn't make any sense at all. And again, I would be so okay with like forgetting the plot if the jokes landed and if the jokes were funny, and they just weren't. And so that's what like disappointed me about it, because it's like, if you had been funny, I would have just forgotten about the plot. I would have been like, oh, that's so funny, like, who cares? But it wasn't. It really wasn't that funny, and it was kind of just like off-putting, which I know was the point, but it's just, no, it didn't do its thing. It didn't. Next up is a film I really wanted to do a whole video about, but I settled on doing something like this just so that I can at least get it out of my system and talk about this film for a little, and that is Perfect Blue. I hadn't seen this film. I had no idea what I was going into. It's been on my watch list for the longest time on Letterboxd, and this film has completely altered me since I've seen it. As someone who watches films frequently and even studied film, it's really hard for me to separate myself from the technical aspect of filmmaking and just like looking at shots, looking at lighting, looking at acting, looking at directing, cinematography, all of those aspects, and like really indulge in a film. It's really hard for me not to try to guess the plot of a film before it's happened. It just comes to my nature just because I'm so like used to doing those sorts of things. And this film I was completely immersed into. It's really hard for that to happen to me, and so anytime that it does, like, I instantly praise the film and just praise the director and writer for doing it. The way that the film intentionally manipulates what the audience is thinking and believing, and what the main character thinks and believes, is genuinely so impressive. It's something that should be genuinely studied. I got full body chills when the twist was revealed. Like, I was genuinely speechless. Like, I was like screaming at the TV just because of how shocked and just like fully into the film I was. It was just such a well done film, and I really haven't stopped thinking about it since I watched it. I highly recommend it if you haven't already watched this film. I think it might be one of my favorites that I've seen this year. It genuinely, like, it exceeded all the expectations I could have even had for it.
To get it.
Next up, I watched Tron Ares. I'm not very well versed in the Tron franchise. I've only ever seen Tron Legacy in 2010, and that was years ago. I didn't really have any strong feelings towards the film. I didn't think it was nor great nor horrible. I didn't either hate it or love it. It was kind of just like a nonchalant feeling about it. I thought it was solid, and I didn't really see why the film was getting a lot of the hate that it was getting. I just wish this film had better visuals, that they were just more impressive and immersive, and especially with a budget of around $180 million. I'm like expecting that from Disney. Like, I'm expecting the Tron film to have like really impressive and immersive visuals. I just don't think it hit the mark with that. Now, after watching Perfect Blue, I had to watch the highly acclaimed Paprika right after. If the director Satoshi Kon can make such an amazing film like Perfect Blue, then I owe it to him and myself to watch the rest of his filmography. And so I decided to watch Paprika, which I had heard a lot of really good things about. I had actually originally heard that Inception was inspired off of Paprika, and so I kind of came into it expecting that sort of vibe. I was just genuinely so surprised with how much of Paprika inspired Inception. Like, so many things of it were essentially direct parallels to the story. I still do prefer Perfect Blue over it. I just think Perfect Blue was just a more compelling story to me. I do love the coloring of this film. I think it was so beautiful to watch, and the film was interesting all the way through. Like, you really don't fully understand what's happening, and I think that that's something I've only seen 2 of his films, but that's something that Khan is really into doing when it comes to his films, just like kind of intentionally confusing the audience and just having them like follow very closely along in order to understand what's going on. And I really do appreciate that sort of storytelling. Like, it doesn't tell you anything until the very end when all the pieces come together. I have been reading Dune for the past like 6 months, and I just recently finished it, so I decided to watch the first and second film. I had already seen the Dune films, so this was a rewatch for me, but now after having read the book, it was a different way of rewatching them because it's like I know what the actual lore is, like I know what's going on. So it's like I was really piecing everything together while watching the films. I did think that the first Dune was a lot better in terms of adaptation. I think it was more clear cut. That's not to say that they didn't take away a lot of aspects that were, in my opinion, fairly critical to the plot. But I understand that not everything that's in an 800-page book can be included in 2 films. So I really was trying to be sympathetic to the fact that they can literally not show every single thing that happens. But the second film really, at first, having watched it before I had read the book, I genuinely thought it was a masterpiece. Like like many others, I thought it was a beautiful film and that it gave you all of the context you needed to know. But after having read the book, it takes a lot more liberty with the story than the first film. It adds things that weren't included into the book, at least in that grade of detail. I have been told that the reason the second film takes such creative liberties is because of the greater picture, which I am not privy to yet because I'm only on the second book of the series. But I will have to get back to you guys on that because to this day, after reading the first book, I just wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of the choices they made in the second film. I still do think that they were great films overall, and I think it's just more personal grievances with the way they went about doing the films.
It's not true.
Everything about this feels like a cliche. She's exploiting this shallow cultural moment.
Next up is a film that I was also really excited to talk about. I thought about making a whole separate video on it, but again, I settled for something a little bit more nonchalant, a little bit more casual. This is the film starring Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and Io Edinburgh. The trailers painted a picture that the film was going to be kind of about the uncertainty of an assault that took place. I thought that the unanswered question about the assault was going to loom over the whole film, and the idea made me really come into the film very cautiously. I wasn't necessarily looking forward to watching something that kind of questioned assault and questioned whether assault had taken place. That's just not my cup of tea. And after watching the film, I was genuinely so surprised with how they handled this topic with so much subtlety and nuance. It was honestly incredible. I think the film made it really clear which side it stands on in terms of the assault. I do think at a couple of points in the film, they do want you to kind of question that, but it becomes very clear at a certain point in the film that the assault did take place. Nonetheless, the film garnered a lot of controversy. I think people thought it was going to be outwardly in support of victims, that it was going to be a Me Too positive film, and it wasn't necessarily about that. To me, it was a film about the nuance of people and the nuance of victims. After watching, I thought a lot about the other film, Women Talking, that was nominated for an Oscar, and that film was genuinely about how women reacted to assault, their own and of other people they cared about. It was a different spectrum of reactions. Others were angry, some were sad, some were in complete denial that they didn't even realize it had happened. Others were in complete submission to it. It was just a bunch of different women coming to terms with their own assaults and how they rationalize it in their own brains. I thought it was a beautiful portrayal of how victims think differently and how they internalize these horrible acts that have happened to them in very different ways. And I feel as though this film kind of did touch on that in a couple of instances. The only thing that this film made me have like a sour taste in my mouth was the finale, the final scene. It really left me perplexed, but after thinking about it for a couple of hours, I came to the conclusion that it was just a really good resolution for the characters that were in the film. I think they made sense for what they have been through in the film and everything they've stood for throughout the film. I thought the film was just a really good way of not trying to spoon feed you a specific way of thinking. I know that art is subjective, but the negativity that this film has received, I've read a couple of reviews on it, and some people seem to be expecting something a little bit more on the nose or a little bit more straight cut. And to be frank, that is quite literally something that the film is critiquing all throughout. It's talking about how not everything is supposed to be perfectly digestible and perfectly comfortable, and not everything is a clear-cut way of thinking and of acting. I really thought it was so well done. I think this is the best film I've seen of his. And again, genuinely super surprised and super in awe of how it was done. I really, really did enjoy it overall.
You've seen all kinds of movies, but you've never seen anything like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Another film for the October spooky vibe, I watched Rocky Horror Picture Show in theaters, and I was super excited to watch it since I had heard so many things about this being a cult classic and just seeing all of the influences it's had on pop culture. And I honestly do think I would have enjoyed the film more had I not seen The Perks of a Wallflower or Glee and their rendition on this film. I think it was really camp, and that's why it's so popular, and the whole like sex positive and LGBTQ plus positivity in it is really something that should be admired for the time. And I think that's clearly why it's so influential and so big in our culture. I liked a lot of the cinematography in it. I thought it was beautiful in so many different ways. The only thing that I really didn't necessarily love were the vocals, and I think that I was just kind of misled because the only way I had ever heard any of the songs in this musical were through the Glee renditions, and it's just like, Glee is so good. So I don't think it was fair for me to have seen Glee before watching Rocky Horror, because it kind of made me think that the musical numbers were going to be better than the Glee numbers, and it's just like, that really wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. I think I like the Glee covers more to the original songs, which normally is not rare for me. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I do love the Glee renditions of a lot of songs that are already really good. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. I also had no idea how freaky this film was gonna be. I really did not know that coming into it. And the fact that they were trying to do this musical in Glee in a high school is just like, how did that even get accepted? How did that even get, like, the idea of that even come to them? Like, how there's no way a high school has been able to do this production. Like, that makes no sense to me. And it's like, if they did, half of the fucking musical is like taken away because it's just so vulgar and so like crazy and freaky, bro.
Trick or treat, trick or treat. Hey, Mr. Cochran, just what is the final process?
Fellas, I was just kidding.
I watched Halloween 3. Mind you, I have never seen Halloween 1, Halloween 2, or literally any other of the Halloween films. So I kind of came into this completely blind. But my brother told me that I didn't even need to know what happened in Halloween 1 or 2 in order to watch this. And that really confused me a bit because it's like, it's the third installment. So what do you mean it has nothing to do with the first or the second? But the film was really fun and really cute. Like, I think it was just really camp. It was kind of like a testament to the time. Like, it was bad, but kind of good at the same time. Like, I really enjoyed it, but it was bad. Like, like it was really fun. And it was really good in the aspect of being fun, but in a technical sense, it was bad. Like, it was laughable bad, but I think that adds to the charm of it, if that makes sense. And if I were to tell you what this film was about, I really wouldn't be able to, because like, it was just kind of a lot, but it kind of gave like Halloween Town in the essence of it. I don't know if other people will agree with me or if that was just because they were both like old films. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me to talk about the films I saw in October. Let me know if you guys are interested in watching another one of these, because I watch a lot of movies almost every month because of my Regal membership. I'm hoping to get to 100 films this year. Make sure to follow me on Letterboxd to keep up with all of the films I watch. Follow me on all of my socials. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!